Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I was just sitting here, just got back from getting my hair cut, and I was sitting here looking through the comments, seeing if anybody had asked me to do a video about any specific topic, and I hadn't gotten a lot of comments from people asking me to talk about anything specific over here. I think I got like one or two, so if you have specific things that you guys would like me to talk about, it can be a question, it can be about advice based on my life experience. Anything I talk about over here is just based on my life experience. If it's just some random topic, that would be great too. In fact, somebody asked me to talk about my favorite Christmas memory or the best Christmas gift that I have ever received. And I was actually going to try to pre-film some videos around Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to do my best to pre-film some videos for this channel and my other channels for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But this kind of leads into what I was going to talk about. So I'm not really sure what the best gift that I've ever received for Christmas is. You know, I think there's different categories. Like, I mean, if you want to talk about the most luxurious gift that I've ever gotten versus the most meaningful gift that I've ever gotten and things like that, you know, all of those are very, very different. I've gotten very nice gifts in my life. I've gotten very meaningful gifts in my life. I've gotten so many things, you know, that are just mean the world to me. And I'm like sitting here and I'm like, okay, what's the one gift that you've received at Christmas that meant the absolute most to you, you know? And I don't really know, but it kind of leads into what I wanted to talk about today, because I was thinking about this as I was talking to my best friend last night and then to my sponsor on the way home. Went to my meeting last night, to my home group meeting, to celebrate my 29 years sobriety birth date. And went with my sponsor and my best friend, Tanya Jean. And so I was talking on the way there with Tanya about Christmas this year, and on the way home, I was talking with my sponsor. And we were talking about like what we're doing at Christmas and things like that. And this year, I have a very, very busy Christmas. You know, I come from a very small family. I'm an only child, and, you know, when I was growing up, it was, you know, my aunt and uncle, my cousin Caroline's parents, and it was just us. And then my grandma until I was like 12, I think 13 when she passed away. And so, our family was always really small at Christmas, you know? And when I did stuff with my dad and my stepmom, it would just be with my dad and my stepmom. So it was very small, you know? It was like never anything that big. And this year, we're getting together with Alex's family on the 23rd because my brother-in-law and his new wife are coming into town from San Diego. And so the 23rd, we're doing like this huge like dinner thing at his mom's house. And my cousin Caroline and her whole family are coming over there for that as well. And then the 24th, we do Christmas Eve with Alex's family, because when he was growing up in Venezuela, they would celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve. And so we have like a dinner at 9 o'clock. Dinner's at 9 o'clock. It's like very strict, okay? Dinner's at 9 o'clock, and then Santa comes, and then like we exchange gifts at midnight. It has to be at midnight that we exchange gifts. And so that night will go until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. The 23rd will probably go till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And then Alex and I will get up on Christmas morning and exchange presents with he and I and little Boo Radley. And then we're going over to my cousin's house in the afternoon and having dinner, and then we'll probably stick around there and play games and stuff. And then after that, we're going back over to his mom's house to hang out with his family for a little bit more. So it's a very, very like busy Christmas this year. For Thanksgiving, we did 2 different people's houses. We went to Alex's aunt and uncle's house during, like, I think we got over there at like 11 or something, or 12, I can't remember. And then we went over to Caroline's at like 3 or 4 or something like that. And so we split the day, and I was kind of apprehensive about it, in all honesty, because we don't usually do that. And I was like, this is a lot. And I have friends of mine that literally will be like leaving tomorrow, and then like over the course of the weekend, we'll go to like 4 different states, in all honesty. And I don't know how they do it, right? Because it's never really been my experience, even though I've, you know, had so many friends of mine that had to, you know, travel here or travel there. When I was with my ex, he was from southern Indiana, and we lived in Indianapolis, so we would spend Christmas Eve with my mom and Caroline's family, and then Christmas Day with my mom, and then we would go down and spend the rest of Christmas Day morning with my mom, and then the rest of Christmas Day with his family. And that was even a lot, even though the drive was only like an hour and 15 minutes. So, you know, and even if it's family, okay, I get a lot of social anxiety about being around a lot of people. It's just like, I can be with a few people, but being around a lot of people is a lot for me, right? And so, like, whenever I hear, like, I have to do this, and I have to do that, and I have to do this, I have to do that, my immediate response is to want to just, like, kind of go with it and just be like, I'm just going to stay at home and watch movies. But it's Christmas, so I'm not going to do that, right? And so, you know, I was telling my sponsor this before, that, like, or last night, that when I was in my 20s, my response would have been, well, I'm like, God, I don't want to hang out with these people. I don't want to do Christmas. I don't want to have to deal with my mom. You know, like, my mom and my aunt are going to be arguing. Like, it's just not going to be that fun, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to do it. Like, that was my response to holidays for a very, very long time, you know? As you get older, or maybe it doesn't have to be even older, but, you know, when you start losing people in your life, like I have, and your circle gets small, you start appreciating the time that you have with people because, or I have started appreciating the time that I have with people because you don't know how much time you have, you know? And, like, obviously, I'm not spending Christmases with my mom or my aunt or my uncle, and many of my friends have passed, you know, from overdoses and things like that in the past. And so, you know, for me, it's about being very centered and being very present for those moments. And it's not so much about the gifts for me anymore, although this year I've kind of splurged a little bit because I had saved some money, and so I wanted to get people things they really wanted, and so I kind of splurged a little bit, and I'm really excited about that. But, like, people have been asking me what I want for Christmas, and I'm like, I have everything that I want. There's not really anything that I want, you know? And so, for me, I just want to spend time with friends and family, no arguing, just laughing, sharing memories, sharing good food, and having a good time, you know? And that's really, to be honest with you, the only Christmas present that I want. I usually want a white Christmas. Last year, I got a white Christmas. So usually, I want a white Christmas. Like, that's really important to me, but it's supposed to be, like, 54 on Christmas Day here, so we're not getting a white Christmas in Indianapolis this year. But I'm really trying to stay present and not get into the worrying, and this has to be perfect, and that has to be perfect, and oh my God, we have to go here, and then we have to go there. I think it's really easy to complain about the holidays and who you have to spend things with and whatever, until you don't have that, you know? I can remember, like every holiday, I loved my mother dearly, but she could be difficult at times, and I can remember, like, going into every holiday being like, okay, I hope that my mom and my aunt don't argue. I hope my mom's cool. I hope she's, you know, calm this holiday and whatever, right? Now that she's not here, like, I kind of, even, to be honest with you, miss a little bit of all of that, you know? And it's like I watched a movie for Thanksgiving called Home for the Holidays. My cousin and I used to always compare it to our families because our families were so, like, kind of crazy, you know? And I miss that now that my aunt and uncle's gone. You know, a lot of those traditions, Caroline and I continue to try to carry on, but, like, I miss a lot of that, right? And so, and I think the other thing is, and I shared this not too long ago, but that when I went into treatment, my sobriety birthday's the 17th, so I was in treatment over Christmas. I learned one of the most powerful lessons from that, because I didn't have a lot of people come visit me. I asked people not to come visit me. I had 2 friends come and then one come the next day. And the next day, the person was like, it was too hard for me to see that person because they were very much a trigger for me of using. So I, like, asked them to leave. But the other 2 friends of mine that came, like, we visited on Christmas Day, and it was very nice for them to come. But one of the things that I realized was that spiritually, Santa Claus, whatever, you know, your take is on Christmas, that Christmas is really just another day, just like any other day. And it's the meaning that you apply to that. It's what you put to that, right? That is the most important. So is it a spiritual day for you? Is it about spending time with family? Is it about spending time with friends? You know, and this is the other thing, is that I probably in treatment had one of the best Christmases I've ever had. You know, I remember on Christmas Eve, like, late at night, I can remember waking up, like, sometime on Christmas morning, like, real early on treatment, and they had put this little tree, like, a real pine tree, you know, like in a thing, with little ornaments on it in our room with some candy and, like, a meditation book. And there was just something about it. I can remember it was snowing, and it was just very peaceful and serene. It was probably one of the most peaceful and serene Christmases I've ever had, you know? And I shared this not too long ago, but when I got out of treatment, that little pine tree, my mom planted it right here. And for like the first 2 years that Alex and I lived here, that was there. It was like this big wiry bush, and I ended up pulling it out and getting rid of it because it just didn't look right. But I mean, I had it all those years. You know, my mom had it here planted. That was probably one of the best Christmases I ever had, because I really realized in that moment like what was really important. You know, that my life was important, that my peace, my serenity was important, that family were important even if I wasn't seeing them, you know, and that my time and how I got to decide my time. I think, you know, I have a lot of people in my life that don't get to spend Christmas with people, or, you know, it's too far to travel, or they don't have people to spend Christmas with, like family and friends and things like that, you know, and I always think about when I was in treatment, and, you know, that what I realized, like it just being like any other day, like anything else. I don't mean that it's just like a Monday. What I mean by that is, I do mean that, but what I mean by that is you can apply whatever kind of meaning you want to it, you know? My aunt and my uncle bought a timeshare in Florida, and the first Christmas that they went, my mom was like devastated, and I can't even remember when this was. It was after we got sober, so I was probably like 25 or something like that. And I remember, you know, my mom had spent every Christmas with my aunt and uncle, like, you know, forever, and with my aunt, obviously, the whole time growing up. And my mom was so upset about it. And because we had always done, you know, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, dress up, all this kind of stuff, right? And I said, why don't we come up with our own traditions this year? And she was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, we both love Chinese food. Why don't we get Chinese food and then watch some of our favorite movies? My mom loved the Thin Man series, which was Nick and Nora Charles. It's this like rich couple in New York City, and the original movie, The Thin Man, is they have a Christmas party, and they have their little dog Asta that runs around, and they basically solve this like murder mystery that occurs in their building in New York City and stuff. And so I remember my mom, like, I came over here. My mom was so excited because there used to be this restaurant right up the street from us called Chinese Ruby, and we would go there, and I remember they had this big fish tank, and it was like red leather, when, you know, red vinyl everywhere, you know, and she was like, oh my god, she goes, I thought it would be dead, but it was packed. She was like, Chinese Ruby was packed tonight. My cousin, if I said Chinese Ruby to her, she would die. I'll have to tell her, because we're doing Cousin Fun Day here in just a little bit. And my mom was like so excited, and my mom and I, our favorite used to be Moo Gai Pan, and so she got that, and she got a bunch of white rice and stuff, and we just had like the best night, you know? And then we took a walk after we watched the movie, and then my mom, she loved to watch the Midnight Mass at the Vatican, and so we watched that after we like got back from our walk and had a cup of coffee, and then I went home and came back over here Christmas morning, and it was a fantastic Christmas because we decided what Christmas was going to be like, you know? We changed it up. It could be whatever we wanted it to be. One of my favorite Christmases with my husband, I remember, this is so weird that I remember this, but his mom and his stepdad were in Venezuela. His brother was, his brother and his wife, no, it would have been before they were married, actually. His brother was still in Venezuela. And so, his little brother, the one that just got married, he was in Venezuela with his mom and his stepdad. So this would have been when they, like, his first year of college, or maybe last year of high school or something like that, his brother. And so it was like Alex and I, his aunt and uncle, and then like his one cousin, and that was it for Christmas. And that was real short. It was like 2 hours. And Caroline and her husband Mike and her son had gone to Florida that year. So that was like it for us for Christmas. And I remember like Alex was kind of sad about it. He doesn't usually get sad about the holidays, right? And he was kind of sad about it. And one of the gifts that he got me for Christmas was, I had never seen any of the Batman movies, like, you know, and there's that, I think it's like a trilogy or whatever. I don't even remember which ones they are, but there's like 3 or 5 in the series or whatever, and he bought me the box set of it. And I remember we had bought a bunch of like junk food for Christmas, because my mom used to always get this thing. There was this local bakery called Roslyn Bakery. It doesn't exist anymore. Some people call it Roslyn, but it was Roslyn, okay? It's spelled ROSLYN. But the grocery stores here, you can still buy what they call the sweetheart roll, and it looks like a heart, right? And my mom and my aunt grew up having those on Christmas morning, so my mom would always get one, so I always got one. So we got a sweetheart roll, we got cheese cubes, we got a bunch of snacks, you know, chips and salsa and all that kind of stuff, and pizza rolls. And Alex and I on Christmas Day, because we had nothing else to do, we literally binge watched all these Batman movies. Okay, he loves those kind of movies, but I'm not somebody that loves those kind of movies. But I wanted to see him because I had never seen him before. And we literally, the dogs were on the bed, you know, it was when like Pee-Pee and Tucker were still here. And we just like were in our pajamas, like upstairs in bed all day long, binge watching these Batman movies, eating snacks all day long. And it was one of the, like, it was not Christmassy at all. But it was just one of the best days ever, you know? And I can just, like, close my eyes and I can still see, like, Boo, Pee-Pee, and Tucker just, like, sitting at the end of the bed, you know? And, like, spending that day just with us and my dogs, you know, my dogs, our dogs, was probably one of the best days, if not the best Christmases I've ever had. So it's really about how you spend it, you know? And, you know, even if you're alone, you know, you get to do whatever you want to do for Christmas. I'm somebody that has looked at my life through the lens of the glass is half empty instead of half full for the majority of my life. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to look at the glass as half full instead of half empty. And you know, even if you're spending Christmas alone this year, which I feel for you if you are, you get to dictate how you're going to spend this year, you know? You get to dictate what you're going to eat. You get to dictate what you're going to watch. You get to dictate what you're going to do, you know? And you can read books all day long or binge watch TV shows or whatever, you know? And if you don't celebrate Christmas, you know, and the rest of the world does, that's a weird thing, right? When you don't celebrate Christmas, I have friends of mine that they're like, yeah, we don't celebrate Christmas, but the world goes on, right? And so, you know, maybe you're off work that day, or maybe you have to work, you know, and thank you for your service if you have to work on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I appreciate it, you know? But we get to do whatever we want to do. And even if you have family obligations or anything, like, you can come and go whenever you want, you know? You can be whoever you want to be at those things. There's no force or anything like that, right? If you have a family member you don't get along with, you can avoid them. Or you can say, you know what, not today. I don't want to argue with you today, you know? You can leave whenever you want to and things like that, you know? I think for me this year, the gift of just being able to not even just spend time with family and friends, but just be present and enjoy those moments is what's most important to me. And so I was going to work really, really hard to have like videos go up on all of my channels. And I think what I've decided is I'm going to try the best to do what I can do. But then I'm just going to take Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, and I'm just going to enjoy the day with my husband on Christmas Eve and his family, and then Christmas Day with, you know, Alex and my cousin and her family and stuff like that, and just be present, you know? Just be present in the moment and really enjoy it. And just and enjoy that day. If not for Christmas, just a day of being with people that I love, doing things I want to do, because I know that there'll be a point where I come home and I, you know, turn on Vanderpump Rules and binge watch that, and that's going to be great, you know? So it's whatever we do with it, you know? I think the greatest gift I've learned, and the greatest gift I'm giving myself this year for Christmas, is being present. Being present in that moment, whatever that moment means, whether that means it's with family or whether I'm by myself alone, binge watching a show, or whether I'm in the car with my husband and we're listening to music, or whether, you know, we're at the grocery store, or whatever it means. It means just being present this year and allowing myself to enjoy that moment and not look at the glass as half empty, but instead look at it as half full and realize I'm here, you know? I'm here and I'm living, and that's an amazing gift, you know, and that I get to enjoy another day, and it's what I make of it. And so I want to get out of, in 2024, I want to complain less, be grateful for more, and learn to be present. So let me know what your greatest gift was in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.